much for talking to Moneycontrol. I want to begin by asking you about the revenue numbers. Overall, it's a good show. But what does this indicate about the coming quarters? Because there's also an element of caution in your commentary. So how does this set you up for Q3 and Q4?
So on Q3, first on the guidance, we've taken the guidance from 14 to 16 to 15 to 16. So it's at the higher end of our initial guidance. We've had very good large deals in Q2 and we've had good momentum through the year. Having said that, I also shared we are seeing some concerns in mortgages and financial services, in the parts of the retail industry, in high tech, in telecom. Keeping all that in mind, and then there is seasonality. Infosys typically, the second half, we see more seasonality than the first half. So keeping all of those factors in mind, we have built this guidance outlook. Our large deals pipeline is extremely strong today. And with what we've seen in Q2 and the pipeline, we feel good. We have two parts of the company, both doing well. Digital and the core services. Core services also growing. So we feel well positioned to work in this environment, the macro environment, whichever way the macro environment evolves.
Right. But the net addition number, points to perhaps some headwinds going ahead because it's less than half of what you hired in the first quarter. When September is traditionally supposed to be a very strong quarter for employee addition, for IT companies. But this quarter we've seen weaknesses across, even your peers haven't hired very strongly. Why is that, Salil?
So there, first we had 10,000 as a net addition, which is a large number. If you look back to last financial year, we had 80,000 college graduates. We had 20,000, just over 20,000 total net addition in Q1. So as a cumulative, it's a very strong net addition. And we want to make sure that all of these employees are going through their training and getting deployed on these programs. So our view is we will continue to look at the situation, keeping in mind our large deals, our growth, and what we see in the macro, and make decisions as the macro evolves depending on what the stimulants are, positive stimulants or negative stimulants.
Right. In terms of the buyback, Salil, third time you're doing a market buyback instead of a tender offer. People say that, it's a move to prop up the stock and it's basically negative for shareholders. How would you respond to that?
So on the share buyback, my sense is all buyback returns money to shareholders. There are different formats that are within the structure. Given the structure of our company, where it's got a huge number of investors, both institutional and retail, and no concentrated investor, this is one of the more efficient methods of returning capital to investors.
Can you also tell us about the variable payout for this quarter in terms of the quantum, what percentage of employees will be eligible for it?
So that typically we don't share, as you know, that's an information that is more internal.
But in terms of fresher onboarding, is it on track? Have there been delays in that?
So there we have all of the recruitment that we've done, people are joining us. Some of the training is more staged, but there is no change in the number in terms of the recruitment.
Right. In terms of Moonlighting, you've taken a more nuanced view that, you will support some gig projects, but you will not support dual employment. And you mentioned that you also had to let go of people in the last year. But overall, what's your sense on Moonlighting? Do you think it's fundamentally unethical and against the core values of the company?
So there, I'll go back to what I said earlier. I think the approach within Infosys has always been to encourage employees to learn different things, to do different things. Internally, we have for years now a platform called Accelerate, where we were giving that sort of a opportunity to different employees. In any given quarter, 4,000 employees applied, 600 got a gig project, if you can call it that. For external gig work, our view is, in some cases, given the approval of the manager and keeping contractual and confidentiality views, we will support employees to do that. we're also enhancing or making our policies more comprehensive so it's simple for employees. On top of that, just to be clear, the dual employment, we do not support that. Full-time dual employment.
Final question, Salil. So overall, will it be fair to say that you're currently cautiously optimistic based on everything you see? Because on the one hand, you're saying you have a strong deal pipeline, but at the same time, you're also watchful and cautious.
So there, I'll share all of that, what I shared before. I think we have a very strong set of capabilities on digital and core. We see that we are a company that can work in different macro environments. We are now seeing very good large deals in Q2, a good pipeline. And also we see some specific macro concerns in specific industries. So we will make sure that we watch that as we go along. But we remain focused on making sure that we can work in any macro environment.
Thank you so much for talking to us. Thank you. Thank you.